Hello, my dear friends. Good morning to all of you. This is the last part regarding the EE subject unit number 4. In the last video lecture session, we discussed about the unit number 4, part 2, right? And this video lecture is about the unit number 4, part 3. This is the last part regarding the unit number 4. Then our unit number 4 regarding the EE subject will complete. Okay, so let's start last part of this chapter, unit number 4. So in the last video lecture session, you learn about the customer price index, then after wholesale price index, then after you have to learn the 4 types of the indexes, right? And in this video lecture session, you should learn about how they are the applicable in this economical decisions. Okay, so let's start. Uses of price index in the economical and engineering economical analysis. So the engineering economical analysis is provide the wide coverage of this several issues is related to the engineering projects and management. So the major coverage are, first one, there are the project valuation technique. First one, there are the project valuation technique. Second one is the time value of money. Third one, cash flow pattern. Fourth one, tax implication. And fifth one, economical environmental analysis is including the inflation and the price chancing to be, we can say that price have to be a chance to changing, and what are the effect on the project cost and the cash flow you can measure through these indexes. So in this paragraph, there are the uses of this price index on the project, and the cash flow is related to the engineering cost and engineering projects are discussed. So the price index are used in the engineering project analysis is consider any two of the following prices index. First one is a wholesale price index and second one is a consumer price index. So both index are explained separately in the different chapters, but generally in the cash flow projection they have to adjust them in the basis of the index is use the CPI. They have to use the customer price indexed ratio. Okay. So generally there are the conventional to the nominal cash flow projection are prepared for current period without the considering the inflation effect. So the adjustment for the changes is announced by the government department are used for adjusting this nominal cash flow, and according to they have to announce the inflation rate and declare from the index usually and the CPI, customer price index, and the consumer price index ratio. So there are the revised cash flow projection along with the revised cost is capital under the inflation is effect are prepared. So the revised cash flow is considered as the discounted cash flow as per the revised cost of capital. So they have explained as below. Here one example is given to you. On this basis you can easily understand how this type of price index is applicable in the organization for making the we can say project regarding decision. Okay. Whenever we have to conduct any project at that time, these types of wholesale price index and consumer price index are considered, and these consumer price indexes are basis for the government, and government have to declare these types of consumer price index after considering the inflation. So we can easily take the right decision at the right time, and if we have to find the loss in the project, we can say higher expense than the income, so we can stop these types of projects. Okay, so here one example is given to you. A company has projected cash flow for a capital project without considering the effect of the price change. So the project details, first one, project cost is rupees 40,000, then life of the project 3 years, and the normal operating cash inflow and cash outflow for the 3 operating year are as under. So here in the first year you see our project cost is 40,000, then our operating cost and we can say cash inflow are 32,000, 35,000, and 35,000. Cash inflow 50,000, 54,000, and 60,000. I hope you understand about it, because in the last unit number 3, you learn about the various type of cash flow statements. Okay. So here cash outflow means what? Cash outflow means expenses, and we can say that there are the cash, we can say that in our organization whenever we are working, at that time there are the various types of expenses are occur. So from our business what type of cash we have to use or consume, so it's called as the cash output. And cash income means we have to sell our product and whatever income we have to earn, so it's called as the cash inflow, like 50,000, 54,000, and 60,000. So the incremental inflation rate is considering based on under on input cost 2%, 2.5, 3%, and on the output value 3%, 4%, and 5%. Consider MARR means minimum attractive rate of return is 10%. Then you should calculate the NPW, net present worth, or we can say net present value for the project as the cash flow. Okay, so let's see the answer of this question. So in this slide you see that the first of there are the adjustment and the inflation rate will be affected, so we have to prepare first of all cash flow statement, right? So MARR is here is the 10%, okay, 10%. So our initial project cost is 40,000, then operating and other cash flow, so cash inflow 50,000, 54,000, and 60,000. Then what are the inflation rate on the inflow? Here you see inflow rate is, we can say that on the inflow 2, 2.5, 3, 3, 4.5, 4, and 5% on output. Okay, so here there are the adjusted, okay, inflation rate is 1.03, 1.04, and 1.05. So you should multiply 50,000 with the 1.03, so you can get 51,500 rupees. Then 54,000 multiplied by 1.04, so you can get 56,160. Then 60,000 multiplied by 1.05, so you can get the 63,000. Then cash outflow 32,000, 35,000, 35,000. So 1.02, 1.02, 1.025, and 1.03. Then after you have to multiply it, so you can get a 32,640, 35,875, 36,050 rupees. Then the net operating cost means whatever value we have to get, after this you have to subtract this value from this value, then you can get the 80,000, 860, 20,285, 36,050. Then after total net cash flow you have to find. Then after PVIF, because we have to find the net present value, right? So net present value આપણે કેવી રીતે ગોતીએ છીએ, ખ્યાલ જ છે તમને કેવી રીતે ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ થાય છે? 10% છે તો 10 divided by 100, so 0.10 plus 1, 1.1, 1 divided by 1.1. For first year you have to get 1, then 0.90, then 0.826, 0.74751. Then after you have to multiply this value with this value, then you have to get the final cash flow. Here you consider the cash inflow and cash outflow, and also consider the inflation rate. કે અહીંયા આપણે ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ પણ લીધું છે, બરાબર? તો આપણને જે હાલમાં જે પ્રેઝન્ટ વેલ્યુ જે આ મળે છે એ આપણને ઇન્ફ્લેશન કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કર્યા પછી મળે છે. ઓકે, આઈ હોપ યુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ ઇટ. Then net present worth is equal to cash inflow minus outflow. તો ઇન્ફ્લો આપણું કેટલું મળ્યું? 70,144 plus 16,755 plus 20,240. So total is 54,139 and our outflow is 40,000. So 14,139 એ આપણી નેટ પ્રેઝન્ટ વેલ્યુ મળી. જ્યારે નેટ પ્રેઝન્ટ વેલ્યુ એ 0થી વધુ હોય તો એ પ્રોજેક્ટ એક્સેપ્ટેબલ છે. જો 0થી ઓછી છે તો મીન્સ કે જ્યારે આપણું કેશ ઇનફ્લો એ આઉટફ્લો કરતાં વધુ હોય તો એ પ્રોજેક્ટ એક્સેપ્ટેબલ નથી, બિકોઝ કે દેર આર ધ હાયર એક્સપેન્સીસ ઇન ધીસ પ્રોજેક્ટ એન્ડ ધ લેસ ઇન્કમ. દેન જો અહીંયા કેશ ફ્લો હાયર છે, કેશ ઇનફ્લો ઓછું છે, તો એ પ્રોજેક્ટ જે છે એ આપણે એક્સેપ્ટેબલ થશે. Then the last topic is the cash flow that inflect at the different rate. The cash inflow is the accounting term which refers to the cash inflow in the income from the cash outflow in the cost form. So the difference between these two traded as the net cash inflow or the positive cash inflow, where the cash flow are higher than the cash inflow. Okay, then the conversely we can say that the difference is treated as a cash outflow or negative become where the cash flow is to be a negative and the cash flow કે જ્યારે cash inflow higher છે outflow કરતા તો એ negative જે છે આપણને value મળે છે. So there are the nominal cash flow and the real cash inflows. Okay, so nominal cash inflow and the real cash inflow. So first one, there are the nominal cash flow. The nominal cash flow is refers to the actual rupees amount of the money that is the company receives to pay during the current period without adjusting the inflation rate. Inflation rate adjust કર્યા પહેલા જે પણ આપણને વેલ્યુ મળે છે એને nominal cash flow કહેવાય છે. Such nominal cash flow is a help in the estimating the future income and expense. For the project evaluation in the engineering economics, first nominal cash flow are projected and estimated during the entire project life. As the project life tends to be a longer once in the capital projects in the nominal cash flow are likely to affected in the inherent inflation in the economy. When the nominal cash flows are adjusted at the relevant inflation rate become a real cash flow કે જ્યારે આપણે ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ સાથે એને મલ્ટીપ્લાય કરી દઈએ છીએ પછી જે આપણને કેશ ફ્લો મળે છે રિયલ કેશ ફ્લો મળે છે. ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ એડજસ્ટ કર્યા પહેલાં જે પણ કેશ ફ્લો મળે છે એને નોમિનલ કેશ ફ્લો કહેવાય છે. Then real cash flow. When the nominal cash flow of the project are adjusted for the relevant period inflation rate for the purpose of reflecting and changing in the value of money over the time, so such adjusted cash flow is considered as the real cash flow. The evaluation of this project is based on the cash inflow is indicate the worth of the project. It should be noted that cash flow adjusted to the inflation and the discounting cash flow, there are the two different processes. So the inflation rate is differed as per the raw material items, then labor charges and the output like the interest and debt fund. Then the different segment of the economy like the agriculture, service sector. Within the agriculture sector and service sector, there are the different service category, example, etc. I have to consider. So similarly, the inflation rate are also differ and are significant across the time. So the cash flow adjustment for the inflation rate, the time of the diverse activity become the complex and the cumbersome exercise for the project evaluation in the industrial economy. ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ ઇકોનોમી છે તો ત્યાં આપણે લેબર કોસ્ટ આવે છે, રો મટીરિયલ આવે છે, ઇનપુટ આવે છે. બિકોઝ કે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી છે તો એમાં પ્રોડક્શન થાય છે. પ્રોડક્શન થાય છે તો રો મટીરિયલની રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ છે, લેબરની રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ છે. સર્વિસ જે સેક્ટર છે તો એમાં રો મટીરિયલની રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ હોતી નથી, બરાબર છે. અને ત્યાં લેબર કોસ્ટ પણ કન્સિડર કરવામાં આવતી હોતી નથી, કરવામાં આવે તો બહુ ઓછી. સો દેટ્સ વાય દે હેવ ટુ નોટ કન્સિડર ધ નોમિનલ વેલ્યુ એન્ડ ધ રિયલ વેલ્યુ. ટૂંકમાં તમે ડિફરન્સ તમે કહી શકો દેર ધ ડિફરન્સ બિટવીન ધ નોમિનલ કેશ ફ્લો એન્ડ રિયલ કેશ ફ્લો ઇઝ ધ દે હેવ ટુ નોટ કન્સિડર ધ ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ એન્ડ ઇન ધ રિયલ કેશ ફ્લો they have to consider the inflation rate and adjusted the cash flow with the inflation rate. So you can get the real price nowadays. What are the price of your project? You have to find out it. Okay. Then the impact of this different inflation rates. Okay, how you find it? So in India, consumer price index is calculated by the Bureau of Labor Statistics BLS and published on the monthly basis. We have to find the CPI on the monthly basis. So the process to month means there are the shorter period of time. Calculation is by this formula. So month to month calculation કરવું હોય so current month inflation rate is equal to I1 minus I0 divided by I0 multiplied by 100. So I0 is the previous month inflation rate, I1 is the current month inflation rate. For example, અહીં example આપ્યું છે તમને. Current month inflation rate is 6.28 and compare with the previous month inflation rate is 5.78. Then the current month inflation will be as under I1 minus I0 divided by I0 multiplied by 100. So I1 is a, we can say that current month શું છે આપણું 6.28. 6.28 minus 5.78 divided by 5.78 multiplied by 100. So you can get the current month inflation rate. So our current month inflation rate is 0.086%. So you can easily find the monthly basis inflation rate changes. Then after second one is a periodic percentile growth rate. The periodic growth rate in the used in the calculation in the terminal inflation by using this formula, terminal growth rate is equal to 1 plus G1, 1 plus G2 dash 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 1 plus Gn minus 1. So wherever is a G1, G2, G3 etc. is a periodic growth in interest. So it's the consequently monthly inflation rate like 5.2, 5.28, 6.28, 6.72. Then the terminal inflation rate for the third month is to be considered as under 1 plus 5.28 divided by 100. So you can get the 0.528 plus 1. Okay. Then 1.6, 1.0628, 1.0672 minus 1. So 1.1941 minus 1, so you will get the 0.941. So 19.41 is the periodic percentile growth rate. Means કે subsequently કેટલું growth આવે છે, ફર્સ્ટ યરમાં કેટલો ગ્રોથ છે, સેકન્ડ મંથમાં, થર્ડ મંથમાં, તો તમે ઇઝીલી ફાઇન્ડ કરી શકો કે નેક્સ્ટ મંથમાં કેટલો ગ્રોથ રેટ હશે. Then interim period average inflation rate. So this is the last topic. When the interim and the terminal inflation rate is given with the specific time unit like day, month or year, or the average period inflation is calculated as under. કે જો તમને monthly નહીં પણ yearly, બરાબર છે, for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, તો એના માટે જ્યારે inflation rate calculate કરવાનો આવે ત્યારે if the inflation rate before 10 years was the 40% and the current inflation rate is 400, then the average year inflation rate will be as 100. So average inflation rate is equal to n under root terminal rate divided by initial rate minus 1. So terminal rate કેટલો છે 400 current. Then કેટલા year છે 10 years. So અહીંયા n is equal to 10. Current rate એટલે કે terminal rate 400. Then initial rate at 40 minus 1. So 1.26 minus 1. So you will get the 0.26 or we can say 0.26% as the interim period average inflation rate. કે last 10 years માં average જે છે inflation rate આટલો increase થયો છે 0.26. So આવી રીતે તમને એક્ઝામમાં જે છે એ શોર્ટ ક્વેશ્ચન જો પૂછાય, બરાબર છે, તો તમને આવા નાના શોર્ટ ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરવા માટેના સમ એટલે કે વોટ આર ધ ચેન્જીસ ઇઝ અકર ઇન ધીસ ઇન્ફ્લેશન રેટ, સો તમારે જે છે આવા શોર્ટ ક્વેશ્ચનમાં જે છે એ ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછાઈ શકે છે. ઓકે, સો અહીંયા જે છે આપણે ચેપ્ટર નંબર 4 કમ્પ્લીટ કરીએ છીએ. કોઈને કઈ ક્વેરી છે રિગાર્ડિંગ ધ ચેપ્ટર નંબર 4 તો તમે પૂછી શકો છો, કોલ કરી શકો છો, કોન્ટેક્ટ કરી શકો છો. ઓકે, સો થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ. ઇફ યુ ફાઇન્ડ એની ક્વેરી યુ કેન કોન્ટેક્ટ મી એની ટાઈમ. ઓકે, થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ.